It speaks of ongoing, conscious, intelligent, and responsible action. Nobody's born Muslim, and nobody's born Christian, and nobody's born Jew. And being born to Muslim mother and father, whatever that may be, and Muslim society, whatever that may be, means nothing. Absolutely nothing, zero. It's what we consciously and conscientiously decide to be when we become responsible for our thoughts, our speech, our actions, and our decisions in life. That's what matters. Not this slow poison kind of attitude. And that's what I found with the Muslims in that Muslim country, that Muslim society that I've been. They're all born Muslims. So, they're helpless. They don't observe that, they don't see that. But there's nothing much that they have to change. Why? They are born Muslims. I remember a dialogue with someone, and he was from this Muslim society, 100% Muslim. And when I told him the name of my father, and the way the people spell the names in the West, they spell his name as John. So when I told him, this is my father's name, he said, oh, you're a comfort. So right away he feels superior. Good if I'm a convert. That's an honor. Blessed are the people who search for Islam. And look how horrible are the people who have Islam at their doorstep. And they've abandoned it. They've turned their backs on it. They make a mockery out of it. That's the Muslim community. They got a cheap Islam. In the average Muslim community, in the average masjid, you hardly have 10% Muslims who are struggling to discover Islam. Because why? It's easy to be fooled, and they like to be fooled. They don't have to do anything special. The average Muslim can do nothing, but if somebody dies for him or her, and they have a little money, they go looking at the masjid for a Maulawi, or a Labbe, or an Imam, or a Sheikh, or a Mufti, or a Maulana, and they want a series of Qur'anic recitation to do what? To put it in the bank account of their mothers and fathers and uncles and aunts. This is what they do, and they even do it here. We just have a different attitude to Islam, a proxy approach. That's what we do. We think God is unintelligent. We have a proxy approach. What our mothers and fathers didn't do when they're alive, we could do for them when they're dead. And mothers and fathers are very sentimental in our lives. I know how sentimental I am to my mother and father, and I understand you. But the Qur'an gave us clear commands. Clear commands. That we should not take our mothers and our fathers, and our grandmothers and our grandfathers, and our great-grandmothers and our great-grandfathers, and our great-great-great-great ancestors. We should not take them as helpers, as protectors. If they choose to cover up the divine guidance and to be ungrateful to it or to deny it, we should not take them as awliya. But have a dialogue with the Muslims in Canada. Go and meet Muslims all over the place and talk to them. What is their predicament? They're in a mess they can hardly get out. And that's why? Why? Each one doesn't know why he's doing this and why he's not doing that. They're following the others. And the Qur'an told us very, very clearly, this was the same attitude that confronted the Prophet. The beauty is that most people claim they love this Prophet. They will even fight down one another to say, I love him more than you. If I don't say certain things after the name of the Prophet and you say it, you will think you love the Prophet and I don't love him. And you'll go and tell the world, this man don't love the Prophet. Love of somebody is not to flatter them. Love of somebody is to value them, appreciate them, emulate them, make them the cause of your growth and development. That's love. Not this backward and dotish kind of love which people just, when they hear the name of the Prophet, they got to kiss all over the place and say all kinds of Arabic that they don't even understand. So my brothers and my sisters in Canada and in different parts of the world, examine what I'm saying to you. If what I'm saying to you is not real, just throw it away. But if what I'm saying to you is real, then consider that even while we live in Canada, we could be suffering from the same fever as Muslims who live in those parts of the world where Muslims are in the millions. When you see Muslim, you see them like rice. There's no shortage of Muslims as people. What we fail to realize is capitalize on manpower, human power. Look at China. There was a time when China was not worth anything. The West used to call all kinds of negative names to China. China is communist, China is red, don't even mention China's name, don't go there. Now, when you become people of substance and power, everybody is going to lick their tail and come behind you. But the Muslim world have no real leaders. You have imams of prayers. You don't have imams of Qur'an. You have imams of marriages, but you don't have imams to free you from the slavery you were perhaps born in and continue to live in. You don't have imams to wake you up when you go to the masjid. You have imams who put you to sleep, and you like to sleep. Because that's what happened in most places. You go sleep. You go to sleep with all that you hear. Or you go home, you do the same thing. But every day you're begging this Allah, you're transferring blessings or collecting blessings, but you don't see it. Because even blessings, they didn't teach you what it means. They just use a lot of words. Beautiful, sugar-coated words. So dear sisters and brothers in Canada and elsewhere, this is my little humble observation to myself. When I see it, when I see and I observe what I see in the Muslim communities, for all these umpteen years I've been visiting them, it makes me more convinced that we are strangers to the Qur'an. Muslims are strangers to the Qur'an. They don't know the Qur'an. The average Muslim can't even recite the Qur'an. You'll be surprised. There is not a competent reciter in every Muslim's home. There is not. Don't talk about understanding. You're talking of Mars there. They don't understand Qur'an. Qur'an is not meant to be understood. Qur'an is meant to be put over the door, put on around your necks, put in the vehicle, listen to. But don't worry, let Allah understand it. That's Allah's book. I want you to please consider what I'm saying to you as a brother, as a friend. Muslims here in Canada, and especially in the Muslim world, are in a bad shape. Their religion is on trial. And people like you and I, who have had the chance to go to college and university, who have had the chance to live in a society where sense and intelligence are made obvious, we have a role that we can play. And that role is not to be silent about what is happening in the Muslim community. It's to wake the Muslims up. Help them. Help them to question what they're doing. Tell them in life there is something called stock taking. Many of us who live in Canada, or maybe even in the Muslim countries, they have this concept. There's something called stock taking. We take stock of the stocks. But here we need to take stock of our own stocks. We've been investing time. We've been investing money. We've been investing energy. What has it brought us?